You are now locked in to the Sitting Down with the Sisters podcast.
Hi guys! Season. Is that season? What's the next? Something for no reason. Anyway, welcome back, guys. It's been a while. I know it really has, guys.
It's definitely been like more than 2 months. Yeah. We're sorry, you know. In that time, we've been praying, we've been preaching,
we've been telling the
and
truth.
now it's time to tell the truth.
Oh my god, it actually feels weird to be back in the studio.
It
You
feels
know,
so
even
weird.
like planning my day around coming in, like just knowing that I have to come after feels a bit weird.
I was
I've missed it, you
I
know.
was so excited at work.
I
Like
know.
literally, I was like, I'm gonna wear a nice outfit for the studio. I'm gonna wear because
That's why she look like a sexy boy.
Sexy boy.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I go to work, because I can dress kind of chill, I'll just wear chill clothes. Today I said, let me.
I love it. No, I was thinking, I saw you, I said, yeah.
Thank
this
you.
is
Dressing
you
up
look
for the
like
supporters.
it's summer night.
Right. Anyway, so
Guys, have you noticed how warm it is though?
It's
like,
very warm today.
In comparison to last week.
Yeah, and do you know what it is? It's actually all right for it to be warm because you think going into September the weather should just automatically change and just become autumn, but it's fine.
But today's the last day of
Because it's
summer.
Britain.
Oh, is it today?
Today
The
is
last
the
one?
was
last
it
day of summer.
officially?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, okay. I
That's
didn't
what someone
know.
said at work. So I was like, okay. But anyway, guys, we'd even say ourselves, okay, obviously we are your host. I'm Ayo.
I'm Tammy.
And I'm Ashley, you know what it is?
Welcome back to the Sitting Down with the Sisters
Welcome.
podcast.
We missed you so much.
We missed you. Like, you know, we love doing this. We
Facts.
love interacting with you guys. We've missed you guys, and we're back.
We are back.
As
Like
always.
we never left.
And this season, just stay tuned. We're not going to say too much, but just be praying for us.
Yeah.
And be keeping your eyes open.
And
Yeah.
keep supporting. Like
supporting.
you've already been
This
doing.
might just be the season.
This might just be the season.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
I believe it. Hallelujah.
Oh my god.
Make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms.
Yeah.
You already know what it is. It's SDWTS podcast. Everywhere you can find us.
TikTok, Insta, Twitter.
Everywhere. And make sure you're reviewing us on Spotify and on our Apple Podcast. So, girls, today.
Oh wait, really quickly.
Oh,
Sorry,
go
I
ahead.
don't want to go into the episode without sending our condolences to the family of Chris Cabba, who was wrongfully killed by the police. I can't even imagine what his parents must be going through, to his loved ones as well. He was a fellow Congolese, so just
Was he
our,
Congolese?
our condolences to his
our
family.
condolences
Boy.
for real, because
Definitely.
we've heard the story before and it's never nice to hear it again.
Honestly,
Honestly,
it's
it's like the
heartbreaking.
same thing over and over again.
and
We're just tired of
We're
it.
tired and we just pray justice
It's
is
served.
served.
Amen.
Honestly, and we pray, as Ashley
That's
said,
it.
that his our thoughts and prayers are with the family and everything.
Absolutely.
But actually, this kind of links, but not kind of. It's about community, obviously, and the topic of this episode is going to be, where did the hall parties go?
Yeah.
Because recently, you know, in the social media sphere, it was a bit of a conversation around, you know, when we was growing up, there was all these parties and everybody used to hang out together, and there was not this like pride and ego. People would rent out a they would rent out a hall, you know, the ones with the basketball court. They would set up their event there, you know, there'll be food, aunties would cook.
Yeah, like different people
We'll
would
all
just come
band together to
do
just
different things
contribute.
to just bring the whole party together as one.
And honestly, as we've grown up, like, would you guys say that you've noticed a decrease in those type of parties?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Okay. Elaborate.
Yeah. I'm not sure if this is right, but maybe the decrease has come from what I've noticed. It's come maybe after COVID.
Oh, okay. So
That's a great-
it's not been for like years.
point.
You'd say.
It's not happened for a while, but I think COVID definitely solidified it, where I just haven't seen it properly. Like, it just hasn't. Maybe it has happened, but it just hasn't come to my attention for quite a while now.
I hear that.
And obviously, we all know how COVID had an impact on our lives and just
In
different things that
general.
we do in general. So maybe this is just one of them. I don't know.
That's a really
shout.
good
I
point,
didn't-
though. You know, I actually didn't think of that.
And I didn't see people really talk about the COVID part. Really.
Because if we think about it, COVID has put a lot of fear into
Oh.
like ethnic minorities anyway, because that we were heavily affected by COVID directly. So it definitely put a lot, especially in Africans anyway, because obviously we're African, so we can only speak from African perspective. It put a lot of fear into the aunties and uncles, like the stuff that was going around on WhatsApp alone during the time of COVID. So post COVID, there's a fear.
Some people even haven't returned back to church, like to this
fully,
day.
Like I think, and that leads on to what I was gonna say. So as much as COVID has done that, I think another thing COVID has done is open doors for other ways of doing things. So it hasn't maybe completely eradicated hall parties, but maybe having it in a hall has changed. Some like people just do it in other places now, or for example, like a few weeks ago, even though this is that's more of a barbecue, to be fair, so that happened at home, but my mum had a barbecue, and they had that whole community feel, and aunties bought food and things like that. So maybe it's changed from what we know it to be like, and it's just, I don't know, maybe it's changed and it just looks a bit different now. Do you know what I'm saying? I could be very wrong, but I'm just trying to think of other explanations as to why this is happening.
I agree with you. I feel like it's taken on different forms. Like what you're saying is so true. Like even the aspect of COVID has introduced virtual parties. Like people are having their 70th on Zoom. Like, and it means that you just celebrate there. You do your toast there. You do your tributes on there, and that's it.
Call it
a day. You don't have the whole congregating. And I think it actually stems from the fact that capitalism is really capitalizing more than anything, because as much as COVID is I think a lot of people, when they were talking about it, specifically on Twitter, they weren't even talking about it in the last 2 years. They're talking about like in general, like when we were kids, like maybe 10, like the way people, to the frequency of hall parties was a thing. Like people were meeting each other, and they were in their communities, and they were seeing each other a lot more and stuff. But now it's not that way, and like obviously as we're getting older, we're now going to be the generation to kind of take on all of those things. And what was being said, a lot of it is that a lot of our generation, as much as we scream community and be together as people, a lot of us don't have community mindsets.
I just have a few things to say about that,
Go for it.
Before I come on to that, maybe another I forgot my point, but I was going to say maybe another explanation, as to maybe why the whole parties don't seem to be, prevalent, or they don't happen as often. There was a reason, but if it comes back to me, I'll let you know. But I think I was so excited by this whole the point that you just made about our generation and just not doing things how our parents used to do it. I agree with that.
I agree 1,000%.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's a bit sad.
It's extremely
it's very sad, because when we were younger, we enjoyed our aunties and uncles doing it. So unfortunately, we just haven't carried those traits onto like our generation and, just the current times. Back to the point, sorry, I just remembered quickly, just to go back. Another thing is the cost of living. Remember, you're talking about capitalism. The cost of living prices and just everything's just going up, and people just can't afford it anymore as much as they used to. And in terms
how it used to be in comparison to how it is now.
It's a mad thing.
Guys,
you might as well pay for a wedding if you want to try to do a whole
I went
party.
Costco the other day. I can't even tell you how much I spent in Costco alone. Like, not to talk of, back in the days, the difference in prices is
it's so different now.
Mental. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But back to our generation, things have definitely changed.
Why do you think our generation is less community minded?
Because we were brought up more within the Western society in comparison to our parents. Like, if we think back, back home, a lot of our parents were born back home, or they just carry traits from, back home, and they have that whole mindset back home, that whole sort of collective, and it takes a village to raise a child. Everyone wants to help out, and that culture change hits like is such a big thing. Obviously, being someone that was born back home, I don't necessarily remember it as much, but even going back in March, like, I just saw the difference. Like, people just wanted to help out little things, and in comparison to here, everyone just minds their business. No one wants to be involved.
It's every man for themselves.
Every man for themselves. You could see someone screaming or doing something crazy at London Bridge. Don't get it twisted. Not to say some people wouldn't help. They probably would, but they might get their phones out first. To record it and all that stuff. And another good example of why our generation might be the problem as well, I remember something, I don't know if you remember, this was on Twitter, I think about a year ago or so, when someone was talking about a photographer at weddings, right? And I cannot believe, as a black, you know what, I'm going to be specific, as the black community have come together. I can't believe this was leaving some people's mouths while typing it, saying things like, oh, why would I feed a photographer at my wedding?
I remember that.
Like little things like that. It's just like,
that's a perfect example.
If our parents heard that, they would be amazed and shocked. Like everyone,
they would be appalled.
Like everyone, like,
and I don't even want to say black because we can't speak to Caribbean culture. I only know Nigerian culture, and obviously Ashley can tell us what Congolese people do. But like when you're specifically Yoruba, if you go to any event and you're a contractor or like you're a vendor,
you're providing a service,
mate,
anything.
you will be offered food.
You're offered food more than once. As in the way they'll. Like
everyone
for instance, it's our event.
Yeah.
Our parents will now be tapping us. Have you gone and asked?
Have you asked this person?
Have you asked if they're hungry?
Just little things as well, like coming to someone's house, for example. Like you will eat. Like if there's food,
I can't believe
my
that.
mum
I
gets
remember
angry
seeing that.
when my friends come to my house and I haven't offered food straight away. Like
or even like a drink.
Or drink
anything.
or just something.
Yeah.
So imagine that same generation that's debating whether photographers should be fed at weddings and these events. Are they going to be the same generation that will come together as a collective and
to
have
do a
whole
whole party? There's no way. And do you know what it is as well? Our parents put so much emphasis on culture, and I think in our generation we didn't or we don't appreciate it. We don't see it as urgency. Even things like learning the language of our country, or just the little things, and it's sad, but I feel like those things are going to unfortunately die with our parents.
It's
really
because they can only put emphasis for so long. We have to want it for ourselves, and if there's no urgency on our part, we can't now be surprised when they're gone. Things like hosting, the bride price, those sort of things, the hall parties, all of that will be gone.
Because we don't even understand, a lot of us don't understand the significance of the events that we're holding. Like say for instance a traditional wedding with the bride price and all the stuff like that, like do we know the intricacies of what a traditional wedding is meant to go like bar for bar, flow for, like do we know why the man's family enters first, why the family sit like this? Do we know all of that? Do we understand
like
it?
the reason behind it and what it does?
Or do we just see it as aesthetic? Because that's another reason why I think it's dying out, is because our generation is more obsessed with aesthetics, and we're very individualistic in nature, and it's very scary. But like it's like we think more about, okay, how are people going to? Obviously, our parents' generation have a problem with how people perceive them and everything, but that is different. That one is more pride, shame. Ours is like we need to flex on people. To be fair, it's human because our parents' generation also want to flex on people.
Well, but I feel like it's manifested differently.
The individualism is
especially
different.
with obviously the social media era
coming to play now as
everyone
well.
wants to look a certain way. Like someone made a point based on this same issue on Twitter, and they said, like this is the reason why people don't have hall parties anymore is because if let's say someone came to a hall party and there's a basketball ring in the background, they'll get shamed for it because it's like, why are you having an event in a hall party?
And it's trending the next day on social media.
But what I was gonna say though, in relations to specifically weddings, what I was gonna say is I'm not seeing a decrease in traditional weddings.
There's a decrease, but I feel like
the understanding
and also just the way it's done. It will be very different once our parents are no longer
1,000,000%.
It will be completely different. And I think also, I'm so glad you said you touched on that, because the pride part, because there's definitely pride in our generation as well, and not even just in the sense of aesthetic, but very much it's very in South London specifically, it's very cliquey. So people are complaining there's no hall parties, but if you do a hall party, you're only going to invite a specific type of person or specific type of people, and those, even if you did extend the invite to everybody, it would be very much like a group of people there, group of people here.
Some people
some people are even giving side eye, whereas in our parents' generation when we were younger,
the aunties,
everyone was playing with everyone. Like you would go, remember when we were children, you would go to a hall party and you would literally make like your best friend. You might not see them ever again,
but you're making
you'll remember them like, wow, that's my bestie.
And the best friend,
you'll be walking around the party like,
and the best friend that you made, the mum didn't even know the person that was in there, or even externally invited.
That's what I'm saying.
Just like a thing everyone came
now,
I need to speak on that.
there might be some people, like say if we go to a hall party, of course, like I'd want to speak to someone that I don't know.
Yeah, of
but it's not
less
going to
likely.
be the same as when we were younger.
Yes.
Or when we would go to our
I need
parents'
to
hall
speak
parties.
on the invite thing, because see, our parents' generation, it wasn't about whether you're invited or not. If you hear about somebody's wedding more time, you're pulling up.
And
there was no shame.
With it. They don't see an issue.
In Nigeria specifically, Owambe, like if it's a party, it's a wedding, and people know about it, people are turning up. Whether they know the celebrant or not, they're turning up.
In Nigeria, you could be going to chill at your friend's house or your auntie's house, for example, and you don't know that she's going to a wedding. When you get there, she said, we'll go together.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah.
Everyone's
and that's
going.
one thing that I really admire about Congolese
community.
culture, that we still have that now.
Yeah.
And even though, funny enough, I was having this conversation with my mum and my sister, and I can't lie, I was kind of like to them, oh, it's a bit shame. It's like you don't know the person, you just go in there.
I do that too, but they know.
I hear it.
I
because
get
it's
it.
like, we're talking about this now. Who am I to look down on someone that wants to go and have a good time?
Have a good time.
Don't do it at my wedding. I know people that I know, but I can't side at those people.
But at the end of the day, do you know what you were saying about wanting only the people you know at your wedding? Remember, our parents, they're going to invite multiple people.
It's not my wedding.
We have no idea.
I know my wedding is not going to be my wedding.
This is still what we're talking about. Look at the difference between our mums and us, and just inviting the whole crowd.
For them, it's a celebration. They want everybody to see, wow, my daughter is getting married. On the topic of individualism, though, this is another issue with our generation, and I need everybody to listen to me.
You preach.
The problem with our generation is, you see these hall parties that you lot are talking about. You see auntie that was happy to make a kula of jollof rice and nobody was paying her. Nobody in this generation is willing to contribute without monetary gain.
That's what I was going to say. No one's going to work for free.
Sorry. And you know what? That is, I think, more of where that's where we're digging deeper.
This is why we spoke about capitalism, because at the same time, as much as we can blame people that don't want to work for free, we need to remember
People
where that's all come
to.
from. People can't afford to.
In this present
I'm sorry,
moment.
gas and energy price.
half and
But
half.
at the same, I get what you're saying.
You know,
I'm half and half. Do you know why?
Why?
Because say, for instance, you guys think I'll do anything for free. I don't give a heck.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you get what I mean? And I'll happily
You'll do it out of the goodness of
there
your
were
heart.
so many aunties, I'm sure they did with their last, because they said, you know what, I'm serving my
that's
community.
true, you're right.
Like I'm coming. This is for all of us. It's not. They're not thinking. Not. And the thing is, community. Then people also help her. If she needed someone to watch her child
In return.
they're helping. They're watching the child that week.
And that's what I love. They were building
Community.
strong relationship.
Yeah.
They were building community
Yeah.
because it wasn't just, I'm going to cook for this person and then that's it, never going to hear from them. It was down the line, if you needed a favor, you'll be able to return it.
Yeah. And they were building like good habits or like good systems, frameworks for us to operate in.
Yeah.
That I feel like is lacking in our generation, where it's like we don't have a trusting relationship of each other.
I was about to say
we don't
that.
have a community. We don't have a village. It takes a village to raise a child. Someone can have a child yet now in our generation, and they'll move somewhere quay. They won't have family to bring that child up around. There's no.
They'll isolate themselves away from their family,
and it actually destroys a childhood because having multiple pillars you can rely on in your community is very important.
And that's what makes
something that's
and I'm sure
done
that's
well.
what we remember most
Very
about our
underestimated.
childhood. Like just remembering, the auntie that was always at our house, or this auntie, that uncle.
That was my whole life.
Like that's the most that you can remember.
Overstay their welcome for years and years.
That was there from morning till night.
They were there for months. Auntie said they're staying for. Mum said they're staying for a week. They're still there.
My parents, my house,
they're doing laundry there in your house.
My house used to have people on rotation.
You bug them in the
housing
kitchen.
people for
You bug them in the kitchen, and you'll be annoyed all over again. You have to go to your mum's.
Mate,
Mum,
I'm so
where's
glad-
Uncle going?
I'm so glad you said that though, because I feel like in our generation, there's no
that culture.
We don't
is
see
dead.
the importance of maintaining relationships
or just having your home to be a hub of community.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to the 90s Babies and I love them so much, guys. And they were talking about because they all have houses. They've recently bought houses and 2 of them are getting married and 1's married, right? And they were like, do you have a guest room in your house? And has anybody stayed in that house, in that guest room? And they were like, no. And they were like, it's not even a thing where they're really looking to have people come and sleep over.
It's
like more time if you're coming and going that day. And I'm saying our parents' generation, like if people were coming like from abroad especially, and then they made a good point where it was like a lot of the time when adults were coming them times, it was because obviously they were looking for opportunity in the country and they needed somewhere to stay.
And that
and it hasn't changed. Exactly. That's still a thing now.
People
but in our generation, no one's trying to give up that type of space in their house. They want their house to be their house and their house alone.
That's it.
And and that's the individualistic
And can I
mindset.
put
There's
my
no
hand
community
up?
in that.
I feel like I'm one of those people. I'll be completely honest, and I think it's just the way. No, I've got to be honest. Like, when it comes down to, I'm not saying I would never do it, but that mindset I have it. Like I just like my privacy, and I just by God's grace, when I get to the point where I have a family of my own, I just want it to be just us.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's about breaking that mindset and just thinking, you know what, we're part of the problem, so whatever we can do to sort of help out and be more of a community, then we should, you know, do that. And I'm not happy that I'm part of that. I have that mindset.
But it's just
It's
honestly,
honest,
it's just
what it is.
But all of those things, obviously, as we're saying, all of them, the freedom and the community, obviously, it should be done with wisdom. You build your circle with wisdom, because a lot of these communities were also where abuse was thriving. And
that's what I was
and the
saying.
thing is, those things should be touched on too. It's not that we should just be saying, "Oh, we're not doing what our parents were doing," but
there's a reason.
There should be
sometimes.
and a lot of
boundaries.
There's some stuff that our parents were doing that was very, very toxic.
Yes.
Yeah, and there was some of the things, exactly, toxic in a sense where, not to say parents would know what was going on, but the attitude was completely different.
Yes.
There's certain things in our generation that is
There's
absolutely
more awareness.
unacceptable. Like you can't get away with
No
certain
tolerating
things. Zero tolerance level that our parents might just brush under the carpet or
they
decide
just
not to
accept
speak
it
about.
sort
It's
of
a
thing.
taboo to sort of talk about it. So that definitely has a part to play as well.
Can I ask then?
Yeah. I was gonna ask a question too.
So, since we're on the topic of community and like carrying on our culture basically and carrying our parents' torch or whatever, so what do you guys think about, like, this is a little bit different, but sending money back home? Are you guys going to do it
Sending it to? I want to know.
to family?
It's all dependent. For me, it's really all
Because I
dependent.
saw this discussion
That's
that
a very good question. You know?
that people online were literally like, can't lie, that sending money back home, that stops with my parents.
Right.
They're not carrying that on.
Right.
Can I say something? You know, I don't know about everyone's parents, but my parents is more of a consistent thing. So it's not necessarily when someone asks, like literally it'll be like every month or every 2 months. Like they just have like a routine in terms of when they're sending money back home.
Yeah,
it might not necessarily be like that for me, but if I have family back home that do need my help, I will be willing to offer my service. Like I can do what I need to do, whether it be send money back home or whatever the situation is. I absolutely will do that because I've seen just what sending money back home to the right people can do.
You're right.
So just, you know, hearing a question like that and automatically saying no. I mean, everyone has their reasons, but
your
me
heart,
personally, there's a reason for it. And don't get it twisted. I can understand family back home can take the mick. You know, they think, you know, money grows on trees here.
They think here we're living life in London.
Live the life, and you know, it's always those ones that, you know, think all of that, and then when they come here, they understand like it's not as easy. So I can understand whether, you know, the
reservations.
The reservation,
that's it. The reservation, I can understand where that comes from. But it's about weighing
It's balance.
the option, just finding the balance, I would say. I would just,
What about you?
See, I don't really know what my parents do in that department. I feel like my dad specifically, not because I don't.
I don't know what they do in that
I don't
department.
know, because like it's not like I'm asking them.
they send money,
and it's not. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know what
And the thing
ministry's
is,
going
It's
on.
not a thing where they're complaining about it,
Right.
or do you know what I mean? So like for me, I don't know how to. All I know about my specifically my dad, he's one of the most generous people ever. So when it comes to people needing help, whether it's hospitality, money, whether, my dad is that guy. Even people will refer people to my dad. That's the kind. So I'm sure but I know my dad is also the type of person. It's about wisdom, because it's not that his money that you're going to use to scatter something.
Right.
So for me, where I lie with that is that for me, I'm all about community. So if I know it's for the bettering of someone's life, I'm more than willing to help out. But it's not that I'm going to be doing direct debit because I'm in the UK and
you know,
you're
the
in
direct
Nigeria.
debit, this one I'm not understanding.
I have enough direct
and
debits.
don't let the people back
At
home
this
deceive
age.
you. They're living life.
And you're not going to emotionally manipulate me into giving you
That
that money.
part.
But at the same time, I actually really do understand
Yeah.
the struggle, because to know what the current climate of the economy in Nigeria is,
Right.
that 800 naira to £1.
Right.
Yeah, it's
not
getting
funny.
worse.
The pressure is getting worse.
Getting worse. So more time when you do send money back, it's very helpful.
Yeah, no,
so
of
like
course.
it's always good to have the perspective.
And it makes that little bit of difference.
It does.
What would
it
you say?
absolutely
I'm right there with you guys. I'm not gonna lie. If you asked me this maybe like a couple months ago, my answer would have been no, because I've seen firsthand people take the mick.
Yeah.
Like when my parents have sent money back home,
Absolutely same.
and they've just done a ruckus with the money.
Yeah.
My mum has sent money for one thing, they've gone to use it for another.
another.
Right.
Congratulations.
Hallelujah.
No, real talk.
But yeah, I'm with you guys. Now I definitely had to check myself, and I've also seen like the good of what it does when my parents have sent money and it's used for the correct thing. So I don't think I could sit here and say, oh, I'm never ever going to send money back home.
Can I say something on that as well? One thing about the whole sending money back thing, yeah, and community is like, just make sure you're taking care of your family here first.
Yeah,
because I think for a lot of the reason why our generation has like an opposition to it and like, oh, I'm not going to do it, is because
they don't feel like they're completely comfortable.
They saw their parents give money. No, they saw their parents give money to these people back home, but they didn't have school shoe, or like they had a hole in their school shoe for months,
which can cause some sort of
resentment. And it causes resentment because you're giving money to people back home, but like me, like I don't have school dinner money.
There's no grocery, like there's no food for me to take to lunch to school.
And I feel like that priority thing.
That's why I'm asking people for them.
That's why I'm eating at the school dinner table. I'm asking all my friends for food.
Oh, can I have some?
Because like when you were sending money to Mama Ibeji,
Mama Ili,
when you were sending money to her, my stomach was rumbling.
Wow,
me too.
I'm
hungry.
That's the thing.
And do you know what it is?
Why are the
priorities all over the gap?
And as much as like I want to sit here and be angry, I think the selflessness that they had and the position they were in,
it was different.
Was very, very difficult. But we have to remember our parents are coming from there, so they know the position that their family is in back home.
That's still not to not feed the kids.
But at the same time, please
feed your children.
I'm hungry.
They felt like there's something our parents thought they were doing. Not our, because I can't say my parents did that, but like for those people that had that, like their parents probably felt like they were doing at least the bare minimum, but their children felt the lack, and so that's where you need to analyze
firsthand.
You need to analyze. Okay,
everyone is comfortable.
Jesus tells you to look after your family.
Your first ministry is your home.
Your first ministry,
number one.
The Bible literally says a man that cannot provide for his family is worse than an infidel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is worse than a fool. Okay, a fool.
Capital F.
Don't be boo boo the fool. Okay, everybody.
Facts, though.
So that's to say that. But then my question on community is, as 3 young women that were brought up in the Western society, how big of a deal is community to you, and how important is it for you to engage in things that create community spirit? Because I feel like it's all good and well, we can kiki and stuff and talk about this all day long, but I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of, obviously I know you guys are my girls, so I know you, but like for a lot of our generation, I'm not gonna lie, you lot don't have a community spirit. You don't. You have a spirit of division. Reals.
Yeah.
As long as you're thriving, you're happy. And I think that's where a lot of these issues stem from. So yeah, that's my question.
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
Do you know, when I was younger, I didn't understand, and my mum would always tell me, when you get older, you'll get it. And now when I get old, now that I'm older and I'm getting older, I understand, because it's not that, say tomorrow I want to get married and I'm expecting all these people to go above and beyond for me, but I didn't take the time out to partake in the things that they organised and the things that they did, but I'm expecting all of these things in return. And that's not to say that I should just go to these things to get things back, but there's
community,
there's emphasis, and there's importance in just being a part of something. There's importance in fellowship. That's why Jesus didn't do his ministry alone.
Right.
He needed the 12.
He needed the 12 men.
The 12 men, the 12 good men.
The disciples.
Hallelujah.
But yeah, no, it's very important to me. And even though there's moments when, just because of the type of person that I am, I really enjoy my own company.
Right.
This year, I made sure to like take myself out of that and just engage and just be in my community more. Specifically the Congolese community. That's why I went to more weddings this year and made sure... tired, but you know, we are trying, we are getting better. I can't just get better one time.
Hallelujah.
That's my motto for life.
I love your answer.
Yeah, I feel
babes.
the exact same way as Ashley. Emphasis on, I just enjoy spending time by myself, that sometimes I can forget the community.
You can isolate yourself.
Like I can literally isolate. Yeah, that is literally it. And you know, like Ashley said as well, from when I was younger as well, I just didn't understand the emphasis on community. I didn't understand what my parents or my mom specifically was doing, all the things that she was doing. Oh, this auntie, this uncle, yeah, this
it's
person.
True.
I'm just like, why is there so many things going on, mom? What's that doing for you? Like, I just
so
noisy.
It's so
It's too much.
Too many tabs
If it's not this woman, it's that
It's
uncle's
mosh.
brother. You know, it's
Okay.
just helping in every way. But do you know what? It's the sense of community is very important. Just literally going back home, just in March as well, seeing just not necessarily what my mum has done for people, but just in general, just the exchange there, and just meeting some of these people that she's always speaking to on the phone and how they embraced each other was just so beautiful to see. And yeah, that like I don't understand anyone that wouldn't want to be a part of something like that.
Right.
And I want to be careful in saying this, because at the end of the day, as humans, we do have tendencies to be selfish. And the reason why a lot of people might do these things is maybe because they just always look for, you know, when it's my turn, then maybe they can help me. It's not about that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just about putting yourself out there and just doing the best that you can within your community.
That's it.
Whether it does come to your turn when you need the help, absolutely, you'd expect whatever you need back, but that's not what it's about. That's not what community is about. It's literally just about being there for people. And you know what, I definitely want to be a part of that. I wouldn't say I'm there yet, because at the end of the day, what community do we have? Like we're saying, no, we have it within our immediate friendship, but in our generation,
what's
the
the
conversation? What we
Yeah.
are doing together
Right.
besides day drinking and brunch?
And
you
Soapbox
know?
is a good example of that.
Right.
But anyway, yeah.
So it needs to be bigger
Cherish
than that.
it.
We need to cherish it, absolutely, and I would love to be a part of that.
I love both of your answers, man.
What about you, sis?
For me, yeah, as what you guys said, as children, you don't understand it. More time as children, you won't, because you're children. Like we don't understand the bigger picture. But I think one thing I did like, and one thing I still have, because I grew up at the church I'm still in to this day. I was literally born there. Every single person, like, we were literally born there, grown. Well, not every single person that goes, but as in, like, I literally have a church family.
Yeah.
And I think that made me understand community very early in life and how important it is. And it really showed up this year. So one of my uncles at church, his mum passed away, and like at church I do the audiovisual, like I'm in the audiovisual department, so I was helping him make sure that he could stream and like do all his funeral arrangements for his mum. And literally the call he gave me the week after, he was the same, I think it was the end of the week or something like that, or the week after, he called me, he goes, he calls me his princess.
Aww.
He's like, when you get married, I don't, because he's Nigerian, but he lived in
where
Italy.
this is going.
He lived in
lovely.
Italy, so he doesn't wear an agbada like very frequently. He wore one for his mom's service of songs, but he doesn't wear one frequently because he's like a European man now, because he's lived abroad for a while. But he was like, when you get married, I'm gonna wear a nice agbada, like, and he was just like hailing me. It's the traditional men's traditional
You know
clothes.
that? Yeah.
That's the one that you carry over your shoulder. And he just kept hailing me and like admonishing me and affirming me and just telling me that he's so grateful for like how much I chipped into something that meant so much to him, because he was the only son of his mum, and like obviously his mum just passed, so like it was a big deal for him, and he was really trying to like make sure that all his family were happy with the way he did it and everything, and like he just wanted to show his appreciation. I'm saying that showed me how beautiful it is to be a part of a community, because it's like you really, really can be a pillar of strength to someone during a really hard time. And like as Tem said, it's not about what you're going to get back, because me, if he never does anything for me a day in his life, just the fact that I got to do life with him, a lot of people don't do life with people anymore. And like that's one thing I cherish with you girls. Like we do life together when it's low, when it's
high,
people are shocked that literally my secondary school best friend, even if you guys know me personally, my primary school best friend is still in my life to this day. But like people are shocked that me and Tem since year 7 still friends. And we have not fought. Like it's community. Her mum like remembers me coming to her house, eating together. Like it's a thing, and it's deeper than being able to say it's been years. It's like no, we've grown up together. We've been there for each other.
And the bond has only gotten stronger.
100%.
It's not about time.
And if you know anything about me and just the way I am with my people, like everyone's my family, and so it's very important that when we do things, we celebrate together. We do it all. And we ride to the wheels fall off.
Just to carry on a little bit from what you were saying, it just reminded me of another reason why our generation definitely plays a huge part. Just a quick example. So when I was back home in Nigeria, I was speaking to some of my cousins on the phone, because a lot of them live abroad now. And we got to find out that our parents have like a group chat, right, where they talk about different things. A lot of them are planning to go home to see like their our grandparents and stuff like that, and they just always put information in the group chat. There's about 6 or 7 of them, siblings, just all in the group chat. And one of my older cousins was just saying how, you know, it's so weird that we just don't talk. That alone, fair enough, we are in, you know, where we are talking a more immediate, like people that live within the same country, but even family is that, like, you don't catch up with your family, and you know, we're all within sort of the same age range. Obviously most of them are a bit older, but just that sense of community within family as well that we just don't have, because we're the younger generation. We don't have a group chat, we don't keep up with each other, we don't do these things,
we don't
check in. It's just really strange. And we were literally saying how we fear that, you know, when our parents' generation get to their old age, where would that sense of community in the family come from? You know, where would we be able to come together and say, you know, where do we
We're
meet up
together,
next?
yeah.
What are we gonna do
Yeah.
next as a fact? You know,
Yeah.
it's just really
That's such a-
it's scary.
that's
That's such an
Very
important point
scary.
because similar to that happened in my family too. Because, and I do think sometimes obviously family dynamics have a role to play with it. Like if siblings didn't get along or whatever,
Right.
but like that should one thing that me and my siblings, me and my cousins specifically on my mum's side, the ones there's literally my mum has an older sister and she has 4 kids just like my mum, and she has 2 boys 2 girls just like my mum. It's the craziest thing, and we're all in the same age bracket. From the oldest to the
crazy.
youngest,
Oh,
we
that's
all fit in the
amazing.
same age bracket. Yeah.
That's one thing I don't have.
And that's the
The
thing.
same- the age
Some
bracket.
people don't have the age bracket, but one thing you'd think, okay, we're all in the same age, and it's your mums, your sisters. You'd think we were close from day, and it's like no, we had to literally say, you know what? They might we are younger and we don't have to necessarily put the emphasis that other people are putting emphasis, but we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Why? Because we want to have a community. We want to
made that
have
choice
and it's a choice,
actively.
and that's what you're saying is so important. It's that
so
It's
important.
analyzing that there's an issue here. Like, why don't we have the community and then
Why is it
working
not
on
there?
it? It doesn't. Community doesn't grow overnight
Yeah.
either, and that's why
and
check-ins
living in
and stuff.
different parts of the
doesn't
world
help.
is not necessarily. It doesn't help, but it shouldn't be an excuse.
shouldn't
Yeah,
be an
that
excuse.
is
Like
well.
with social media, everything is advanced. Like we can literally find ways
There's
of talking
video
to each
calls,
other,
there's WhatsApp
you know,
call, there's
and we're not saying
FaceTime.
speak every single day,
No, but
I
you
don't think
know.
I even have that relationship with my older cousins where I can just randomly message them
And
you know?
ask them for advice.
or you know, it
Do you
just
know what I
doesn't
mean?
The little
happen
things.
Or
that
just check
way.
in, or like what's
if
going
we were
on.
to speak, it's because my mum has called her mum and we've just said hello. You
Exactly.
know, so that sense of community in family as well needs to be there. In
It's
our
so
generation.
important.
Yeah,
It's
and
very
just
important.
To round up on a lighter note, if you're happy to be part of a community like the Beehive or the Barbs, be happy to be part of a community in your real life.
No, facts
I wasn't
though.
expecting
Community isn't just social media. It's real life
Not reals,
too.
because everybody are happy to be part of the Barbs, is it not? To be part of Beehive.
The Barbs.
See, part of the Navy.
When Nicki Minaj
There.
announced that she's going to be in Camden in less than 24 hours, all of you carried yourself, you ran there. But your
You were
friend, when they
there.
want to come to, anyway.
Your local town
When your friend was
centre.
doing an
Your
event, you
local-
weren't
yeah.
there.
When your mum asked you to do your auntie's wig, you said no.
But to be there for Nicki Minaj,
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj.
you were there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sense
Right.
of community
Sense
where
of
it matters.
Facts though.
No.
Real.
Because Nicki doesn't know you.
Mickey.
She don't know you.
Nicki's doing sense of community with her family. You do it to yours too.
No, but okay. Yeah. You
Yeah,
heard
bye.
it anyway.
Yep.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for staying.
We hope you enjoyed this
We hope you
episode. Shout out to
did.
those who have stayed, who have watched, and listened from the start all the way to the finish.
We see you all and we
I've told you
appreciate
lot this season I'm gonna be calling out names.
Oh yeah, you did, didn't
So
it? The way she didn't forget.
Yeah. She'll be back. with
last
the names.
season was a break. This season
You're
I'm
back
back.
in full motion.
Yes.
If you have anything you want to say to contribute to the convo, please do.
Yeah, we're so
comment
interested
down
to
below.
hear
We
everything.
love hearing
If you have
your
any like
thoughts.
topic suggestions, comment down below. Or even DM us on Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah.
Anything, content.
We
love hearing
suggestions
from
too.
you
Yes.
guys.
Because you know we haven't vlogged in a while, so if you have any suggestions, just be dropping
We
it
want to hear more from the people.
from the people.
them.
Yes, my loves, and
Okay.
we
From
will
the
see-
cheries.
Yes, from the cheries, for real.
We'll see you on our
We'll
next
see you on our next
episode.
episode.
Bye.